Imagine you walk into a classroom in Tokyo. Students sit quietly, notebooks open, pencils perfectly aligned, and every single one of them looks like they're in a deep state of focus. No chaos, no noise, just pure attention. Now here's the crazy part. These students aren't born geniuses. They've simply mastered the art of studying smarter. And today, you're gonna learn their secret. Have you ever studied for hours only to forget everything the next day? You're not alone. Most people think studying harder means studying longer. But in Japan, students are trained to study differently, in a way that makes information stick like superglue. So let's dive into how Japanese students remember everything they learn and how you can too. The story begins in a small Japanese classroom. A teacher writes 3 words on the blackboard: repetition, reflection, respect. At first, it sounds simple, but these 3 words form the foundation of Japan's learning philosophy. Let's start with repetition, the backbone of Japanese memory training. In Japanese schools, students review lessons every single day, not once a week, every day. The idea is simple. Your brain is like a muscle. If you train it with consistent small repetitions, it becomes stronger. Neuroscientists actually back this up. There's a concept called spaced repetition, which means reviewing information at increasing intervals. Today, tomorrow, 3 days later, then a week later. Each time you review, your brain rebuilds and strengthens the memory pathway. Japanese students unknowingly apply this principle. They don't cram before exams. They review small bits of information constantly. So when test day comes, their memory is solid, not shaky. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't dump a bucket of water once a month. You give it small sips every day. That's how Japanese students water their knowledge. Now let's move to the second pillar, reflection. After each lesson, many Japanese students practice something called fukushu, which literally means review. But it's not just rereading notes. It's an act of self-questioning. They ask themselves, what did I understand today? What didn't make sense? How can I explain this in my own words? This reflective process activates something psychologists call metacognition, thinking about your own thinking. It's like becoming your brain's personal coach. Imagine finishing a study session and taking 5 minutes to summarize what you learned without looking at your notes. That's exactly what Japanese students do. They turn studying into an active conversation with their brain. When you do this, you move information from short-term memory into long-term storage, the same technique memory champions use to recall thousands of details. And the third pillar, respect. Japanese students grow up in a culture that deeply respects teachers, learning, and discipline. When a teacher enters a classroom, everyone stands and bows. It's not about being formal. It's about gratitude and focus. When you respect the process of learning, your brain treats study time as something valuable. You stop multitasking, stop checking your phone, and start paying full attention. Modern neuroscience agrees. Attention is the gateway to memory. If your brain isn't paying attention when learning, it never properly encodes the information in the first place. So respect, not just for teachers, but for the moment of learning, becomes a secret superpower. Let's step into another scene. It's 6 a.m. in Tokyo. A high school student wakes up, not to scroll TikTok, but to review flashcards for 15 minutes before breakfast. This habit is known as Asa Ben, or morning study. Japanese students believe that the brain is sharpest early in the day, and research proves them right. Our working memory and attention peak in the morning before the world distracts us. So they use that golden window to do small, focused reviews. Not hours of studying, just short bursts. Try this. Tomorrow morning, instead of checking your phone, spend 10 minutes reviewing something important. You'll be amazed at how much more you remember throughout the day. Now there's another hidden practice most people outside Japan never hear about, Shuren Gakushu, or group learning. Japanese students often study together, not to gossip, but to teach one another. When one student explains a math problem or a history concept to another, they're not just helping their friend, they're reinforcing their own understanding. This is called the protege effect. When you teach, you learn twice. So if you want to study like a Japanese student, don't isolate yourself. Find a study partner, even online. Teach each other, ask questions, challenge your understanding. Learning becomes a shared experience, and your brain wired for social connection loves that. Here's another powerful Japanese habit: writing by hand. In Japan, students spend years mastering handwriting, not for beauty, but for memory. Studies show that when you write notes by hand, you activate motor memory and spatial awareness, which makes learning more durable. Typing is fast, but it doesn't leave the same mental footprint. Handwriting forces your brain to slow down and process information deeply. So, next time you're studying, grab a pen and notebook. Write your notes, draw diagrams, doodle. Your brain will thank you later. Now, let's talk about something unexpected: silence. In many Japanese classrooms, silence isn't awkward, it's respected. During study time, the room becomes a zone of focus. Silence helps the brain enter a deep work state where distractions fade and concentration skyrocket. Neuroscientists have found that during silence, the brain actually regenerates neurons in the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory. So, create your own Japanese-style silence zone when you study. No music, no notifications, just you and your thoughts. At first, it feels strange, but after a few days, you'll start craving that peaceful focus. And finally, we reach the most beautiful part of Japanese learning culture: Kaizen. Kaizen means continuous improvement. It's not about being perfect, it's about getting 1% better every day. Japanese students apply Kaizen to study. They don't aim to memorize everything overnight. They just try to learn a little more, understand a little deeper, focus a little longer each day. And those small improvements compound over time, like interest in a savings account for your brain. So don't pressure yourself to become a genius today. Focus on tiny daily progress. That's how Japanese students turn ordinary effort into extraordinary memory. Let's summarize through a story. Imagine two students, Alex and Yuki. Alex studies for 6 hours a night before an exam, surrounded by snacks and stress. Yuki studies 1 hour every day, reviews notes in the morning, writes summaries by hand, and reflects after each lesson. When the test comes, Alex forgets half the material. Yuki remembers almost everything. The difference isn't talent, it's technique. Yuki followed the Japanese path of repetition, reflection, and respect. And you can too. So here's your challenge. Start your own study Kaizen journey today. Review small bits of information daily. Reflect after each session. Respect your focus time. Write by hand. Teach others. Study in silence. And never stop improving. Soon, you'll notice your brain getting sharper, your memory getting stronger, and your confidence growing, just like a Japanese student preparing for success. Thanks for watching, and if you learned something new today, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Chromebook Studio, where science meets smart learning and creativity never stops. Until next time, stay curious, stay focused, and keep learning.